The Psychology of Narcissism. Everything you should know. It's easy to describe someone who spends a bit too important time talking about her career or who no way seems to misdoubt himself as an egocentric. But the particularity is more complicated than that. Narcissism doesn't inescapably represent a fad of tone, regard, or of instability. More directly, it encompasses a hunger for appreciation or admiration, a desire to be the center of attention, and an anticipation of special treatment reflecting perceived advanced status. Interestingly, exploration finds numerous largely narcissistic people frequently readily admit to in mindfulness that they're more tone-centered. A high position of egocentricity, not unexpectedly, can be damaging in romantic, domestic, or professional connections. Narcissistic personality complaint is one of several types of personality diseases. It's characterized as an internal condition in which people have an exaggerated sense of tone. According to the most recent data, narcissistic personality complaint is not as common as we suppose, impacting an estimated 1% of our population. The confusion lies in how we define the complaint compared to other narcissistic personality traits. So in this video, we are going to discuss the psychology of narcissism. But before starting, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as we upload a video. So let's move forward. 1. The symptoms are all cerebral. People who are diagnosed with narcissism all have specific cerebral symptoms. The inflexibility of these symptoms may vary. For the utmost part, egoists tend to suppose they are better than anyone around them and anticipate constant adoration. Along with these symptoms, egoists may also show these signs. Unrealistically large pride live in a fantasy world to support their high pride, annuity, cannot handle review, exploit others without guilt, bully and blackjack others while dealing with egoists isn't a walk in the domain. They've a sweet side too. They're also fascinating, conclusive, and generally seductive. This may make it more delicate to snappily identify someone as an egocentric. 2. Narcissism may be passed down. It's common for a personality complaint to be formed by our inheritable makeup. Our genetics may pass down cerebral traits that aid in egocentricity. Still, they may also pass down physical traits that do the same. While there's no specific gene that's responsible for egocentricity, studies have shown that it's a physical particularity. This may be because narcissism is fueled by someone's physical appearance and the physical traits that they carry. For illustration, good aesthetics, strength, athleticism, seductive movements, etc. 3. Narcissism may also be environmental. Numerous diseases are caused by a combination of nature and nurture. While some people may be more or less likely to become an egocentric, there are environmental factors that can concoct this one way or the other. There are environmental factors that can greatly impact a child's chance of developing narcissistic personality traits. These factors basically revolve around a child's requirements not being met. For illustration, parents who are asleep, exorbitantly demanding, non-contributing, etc. 4. Narcissism is more generally set up in men. As we mentioned, narcissism affects 0.5% of the U.S. population. Within this, it's estimated that 75% of narcissistic people are men. We've all seen the Joe who can control every discussion, makes further commentary about himself and others, and makes in trouble to bring you down. But why is it more likely for men to show these signs and symptoms of egocentricity? Well, studies have shown that narcissism is a sign that commodity is oppressively wrong with someone's tone image and tone worth. Someone isn't simply floundering with a big pride. They're overcompensating for commodity far more severe and violent. This points to a worried relationship with the world and people around them. Dating back to the morning of society, men have plotted with how they're raised and mingled. Numerous boys are told not to cry, to not partake their passions, and to not be vulnerable. Because of this, men struggle with diseases similar as this bone. 5. Narcissism generally isn't diagnosed until majority. Personality diseases similar as narcissism are diagnosed by trained medical health professionals. This may be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. This is because there are no lab, blood, or genetics tests done to diagnose personality diseases. It's rare for someone with narcissism to seek help or treatment. Still, if they do, they're generally in grown-up. Numerous signs of narcissism aren't clear or visible until someone is an adult and out of the terrain that may have shaped them to be this way. What are the particular struggles of an egocentric? As we mentioned, there is a cerebral dissociate that has made egoists the way they are. Because of this complaint, there are some struggles that they face that numerous of us no way witness. These may include no musketeers, separation from family members, struggle finding life mates, loneliness physical, and career troubles, tarnished character's strong fear of rejection. How numerous types of narcissism are there? Some exploration draws a line between two types of narcissism: adaptive and maladaptive egocentricity. This helps to show the difference between productive and unproductive aspects of egocentricity. 1. Grandiose narcissism. This is the type of narcissism that you generally suppose of first because it's the type that psychologists study first and is most generally associated with the idea of egocentricity. These are the attractive people you've encountered while dating or taking politicians. They make intriguing characters and have further musketeers on social media. You notice them more frequently because they want to be noticed. Grandiose egoists tend to parade big personalities that make them loud and proud. They are bold, assertive, and have high tone regard. They dominate connections with others, overrate their capacities, and suppose largely of their appearance. To some extent, this isn't always a bad thing. They are confident, concentrated on achievement, and make strong leaders. Of course, problems do when their personality traits negatively affect others, and it's frequently magnified when they have power and a megaphone. When grandiose egoists feel empowered to achieve their pretensions with no manacle, they might do this at the expenditure of others. Simply put, they seek status, coitus, and stuff or leadership places with lofty titles, jewel consorts, and brand name bling. They love themselves, and they want others to see how great they are. 2. Everything and everyone around them serves as a pride boost. In reality, small traces of grandiose traits can be positive, and our society backs this up. We praise tone, regard, confidence, and gregarious personalities. We operate organizations and our political system in a way that encourages leaders to step up. Satisfying, seductive, eloquent speakers with followers and influence. This isn't inescapably a problem, but it does magnify the value of these personality traits among us. Think of Tony Stark as Iron Man in the Marvel macrocosm. He's brilliant, rich, seductive, and important. He creates innovative products and helps society. At the same time, he's stubborn, thinks largely of himself, and hates to compromise. There are trade-offs with grandiose egocentricity. 2. Vulnerable narcissism. On the other hand, vulnerable narcissism includes those with further fragile self-esteem. Rather of trying to project it, they want to cover it. These are the hypersensitive people you have encountered at work or in social settings who are protective, vengeful, and avoidant when interacting with others. We don't suppose of them as frequently when agitating narcissism because they are more retired or covered. Vulnerable egoists tend to be emotionally susceptible, which comes out more frequently in remedy than the grandiose traits. They are fluently hurt and more likely to be unresistant aggressive about enterprises than their grandiose counterparts. This is the subtle side of narcissism that psychologists and psychiatrists have come to understand more in exploration studies in recent times. They've set up that vulnerable egoists tend to show further neuroticism in their motives and behaviors. So what does all this mean? Psychologists and psychiatrists have put trouble into researching and understanding these different aspects of narcissism for the once decade. But why does it matter? And what do we do about it? In a clinical setting, of course, professionals concentrate on the distinctions to figure out better ways to target remedy and treatment. At the same time, we can use this new understanding of narcissism to respond to these personality traits in others and in ourselves. We are a society obsessed with getting a better person, and this gives us a lens to more understand our behaviors and how we can change them, if we wish. Those who notice grandiose tendencies in their own personality could concentrate on reducing their negative, selfish, and callous behaviors. Empathy and gratefulness can go a long way in helping grandiose egoists use their fascinating personalities and provocation towards status, coitus, and stuff to help others and profit society. On the other hand, those who honor more vulnerable tendencies in themselves could concentrate on reducing their anxiety and neurotic behaviors. Clear communication and boundaries can help vulnerable egoists to speak up and express their enterprises in a confident, measured way. To be clear, the purpose isn't to fix people or force them to fit a certain mold. The value comes in recognizing the different ways that narcissistic traits manifest and the trade-offs that can do on a diapason of personality. No matter where we fall, we can honor these characteristics in ourselves, pressing the benefits and working on the negative aspects that harm our connections and society. So this is all for today's video. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as we upload a video. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in next one.